Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a really powerful idea about why so many of our institutions seem to fail. The argument? It's not about bad people or flawed leaders. It's about a hidden architectural flaw that causes even the best missions to forget why they started in the first place. Let's dive in.
It's a question we've all asked, right? You see it everywhere. From charities that slowly drift from their founding goals to entire financial systems that just seem to get completely detached from the real economy. We see organizations start with such a noble purpose, but somehow, over time, they just lose their way.
So the argument we're digging into today is pretty bold. The problem isn't the people, it's the architecture. There's a fundamental, almost invisible flaw in the very blueprint of how we design our institutions.
All right, so what is this flaw? Let's go looking for this ghost in the machine, this invisible force that causes even the most well-intentioned plans to decay over time. Okay, think of it like this. An institution's core mission, its purpose, its why, is like a message in a bottle. And the bottle itself? Well, that's the container that carries the message. It could be a contract, a policy document, a legal fund, maybe even a piece of software.
And this is where things go so wrong. Our current systems, they are fantastic at managing the containers, the bottles. We can track the funds, we can audit the documents, we can enforce the contracts. But every single time that bottle gets passed along, the ink on the message gets a little smudged. The words get misinterpreted or poof, the message is just gone.
And this leads us right to the heart of the diagnosis, a concept called semantic decay. And this idea, boy, it explains so much. You see, our institutions are pretty much all built this way. They are container-centric. We basically lock up our most important ideas, our purpose, our intent, inside these very artifacts that are supposed to execute them. And we just cross our fingers, hoping they'll make it through the journey intact. But well, that hope is often misplaced. Semantic decay is the predictable result. It's this systematic loss of meaning every single time a container gets transferred or scaled up or passed down through generations of leadership. And this isn't some random accident. Nope, it's a structural inevitability.
And you know what? We've all seen the symptoms. Look at this. You get purpose dilution. That happens because the rules are being followed, but the reason for the rules has been completely forgotten. And you get institutional amnesia because the memory of why past decisions were made was trapped in containers that have long since been archived or just lost.
Okay, this graph right here, it visualizes the decay, and wow, the result is absolutely stunning. Just look at that red line. After only 10 transfers, think of a project passing through 10 different departments, the system holds on to just 6% of its original meaning. That's not just a leak, that's a catastrophic failure of institutional memory.
So, here's the real kicker. An organization can follow all the rules, check all the boxes, pass every single audit, and still completely betray its original purpose. It's, totally compliant on the surface, but it's been completely hollowed out from the inside. But hey, if the problem is architectural, then the solution has to be too, right? And that brings us to the proposed fix, a totally new blueprint for how we build our institutions. It's called idea-native architecture. And instead of trapping the message inside the bottle, this architecture makes the message itself, the purpose, the intent, a persistent, traceable, and independent object in the system. A first-class citizen, really.
And this slide, oh man, this is the aha moment. Just look at the difference. On the left, in the old model, meaning is buried inside. It's implicit, and it gets lost. But on the right, in the idea-native model, it's explicit. It's persistent. You're literally shifting governance from operating on artifacts to operating directly on meaning itself. That's a game changer.
Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, it's built on 4 core principles. First, ideas become first-class objects. You treat them like unique, trackable data points. Second, you create typed relationships, which explicitly link ideas together to show how one supports or conflicts with another. Third, everything gets provenance, which is just a permanent, unchangeable history. And fourth, you separate the meaning itself from the tools used to carry it out.
So you put all these principles together and something really cool happens. Our institutions gain this powerful new capacity. It's called semantic agency.
Now, to be clear, this isn't about creating some kind of AI or giving institutions a mind of their own. Now, it's a technical property that just emerges from having a better architecture. It's the ability for the system itself to understand, to preserve, and to act on its own purpose. And right here, you can see that connection perfectly, the cause and effect. On the left,
You've got the architectural conditions we just talked about, and when those are met, bam, the result on the right just emerges naturally. A system that can finally govern itself based on its real purpose, using what's called path-based governance.
The difference here is just, it's profound. Your old compliance-based system asks, did we follow the rules? It's totally reactive. But a system with semantic agency asks, is this aligned with our original intent? It's proactive. You're moving away from just policing containers to actually governing meaning. Huge difference.
And look, this isn't just some niche, abstract idea. The exact same structural failure pops up everywhere. In finance, it causes mission drift, where a fund for sustainable investing slowly starts chasing short-term profits. In libraries, knowledge gets fragmented. In government, laws get interpreted in ways that go against their original intent. This idea-native approach, it's a fundamental pattern that could fix the same core flaw across all of them.
So what's the takeaway? Well, the implications are just massive. You can end up with institutions where the purpose is finally legible. You can see it, you can trace it. We could audit for intent, not just compliance. We could build continuity that actually survives leadership changes. And that builds a kind of structural trust, something based on traceability, not just, hoping the people in charge are doing the right thing.
And that really leaves us with one final, pretty powerful question. If we redesign the deep architecture of our institutions, we might finally be able to build organizations that have a memory of their mission. Organizations capable of serving their true purpose, not just for a few years, but across generations. I mean, just think about it. What would that world actually look like?